Tech and the wave of technology, sending a wave right the way through the wonderful retail market here in the region. Let me assure you that the tech is the backbone of transformation, and that is called the theme of our next panel, that unpacks AI, analytics, robotics, and personalization, driving Saudi retail's next leap forward. To discuss more on this, let's call on stage Adriana Silva, the head of growth at MEA at APAC. We've also got Mohammed Beklathwaite, Chief Transformation Officer at Bindawood Holding, Sheikh Makbul Basha, the Chief Technology Officer of Al Jazeera Markets, Rami Younes, General Manager and Head of Sales at Swisslog, Engineer Majid Shahin, Chief Technology Officer, Global Healthcare Co., Majid Sidani, Director of E-Commerce and Panda Retail Company, and your moderator and our moderator for the session, Fadi Saral, the Director of Product Innovation, the chef.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is what we promised to be one of the best panels you're going to have in this forum. I'm 99% sure the 1% are those who are still recovering from lunch. AI, robotics, automation. I'm sure every one of us here in this room receives one or two messages at least a day promising that something can happen. We've all heard the buzzwords, but the real story isn't about adoption, it's about efficiency and how important it is to our business. Saudi retailers are no longer following trends, they are building them, and tech is one part of this trend that is being built. Welcome, Engineer Majid. Sorry, guys. From predictive analysis in grocery to robotics and fulfillment, from AI-driven personalization in cafes to omni-channel ecosystems that merge human and digital experience, the kingdom's retail industry is expanding, growing, and is definitely building its own future. I'm joined by 6 leaders who know very well about this topic, each in their own field. With me today is Adriano Silva, head of APAC and the Middle East at VTEX. Joining me as well is Mohammed Belkhayat from Bindawood Holding, the Chief Transformation Officer. As well with us today is Sheikh Dawood, the Chief Technical Officer at Al Jazeera Supermarkets. Rami Younes, General Manager at Swisslog. Joining him as well is Engineer Majid Shahin, Chief Technical Officer at Global Healthcare Company, more known for Kunuz and White. And joining us as well is Majid Sidani, Director of E-Commerce at Panda Retail Company. Good to meet you, gentlemen. Let's dig in. Adriano, would you be comfortable starting first? Perfect.
Sure.
From your global view going all the way across Asia Pacific and the Middle East, what's the biggest challenge Saudi retailers are facing in moving from fragmented tech stacks to unified composable commerce?
Good afternoon, everyone. After the food, lunch, I know it's not easy. Let's keep awake. So my name is Adriano from VTEX Commerce Platform. It's a pleasure to be here with this panel of experts discussing Saudi Vision 2030. Just as a quick background of us, I was born in Brazil, but my grandmother, she was born in Jeddah. During the first war, she moved to Brazil, and I'm connecting again with our roots here. I have done more than 1,000 transactions in M&A. We have a company, public company, VTEX, is in the stock market. We have more than 1,300 employees. We have a more than $10 billion valuation, and we are in more than 50 countries, and very happy to be here discussing this important topic, mainly in the e-commerce. We do e-commerce for B2B, B2C, marketplace, omni-channel. And I would say, I like the word simplify, because we have a tendency to complicate things, not everywhere. People like to complicate complexity. And I think today, in the morning, I heard 7, 8 words out of 10 was AI, and I think we discussed this before. But I like a philosopher, Edgar Morin, French philosopher. He studied the complexity, and he said, to understand, to make simplify things, we need to understand the complexity. So in our foundations, we work a lot with architecture. When you want to build a building, a house, you need to understand the architecture, and we do the same in technology. Our founders and myself, we started this 25 years ago. We were fans of Formula One, and we always say in the Formula One, we put the best car, but we need the best driver from the client side, and we need the engineering team from our partners and ecosystem, so it's very important to discuss the ecosystem. I know sometimes we are facing a crisis, but we always say, we have a pilot, a driver, Ayrton Senna. He used to do the best performance during the rainy season. So if you are facing the rainy season, I think it's the best way to perform. I know we are discussing technology, and I saw in the previous panels, I always say, if you want to build an e-commerce successful, you need to do and apply the 3 H's in your team. So when I'm going to talk to my friends from the retailers, I try to identify the 3 H's. The hipster, the hacker, the hustler. When I see the 3 H's, the combination of those people, I see this is possibly a potential project. I was also seeing the OpenAI, they were hiring a chief of staff yesterday. And I don't know if you know how many employees have in OpenAI today. More than 7,000 employees. And they are going to 10,000. So I said, oh, why you are hiring a chief of staff? Why you don't use agentic AI and you replace all your senior managers? So I think there is a contrast of what they are selling versus what they are applying internally. And obviously there is a mindset changing. I just want to give another data here in Saudi market. We are in $25 billion e-commerce market size. If you remember, the Saudi GDP is 1.2, 1.3 trillion. So we are talking about 1-2% e-commerce penetration. So I think we have a huge challenge to grow, and let's discuss here with my colleagues.
Thank you, Adriano. Mohammed, everyone within the retail segment wants to join or already joined the e-commerce wave. Everyone wants to do delivery, everyone wants to do this. What separates and what identifies a retailer that is setting up their own trend versus those who are simply following the wave?
Good afternoon, everyone. Mohammed Al-Khiyad, Chief Transformation Officer at Bin Dawood Holding, a retail grocery company with over 100 stores, hypermarket, supermarket, and convenience across the country, and more than 200 pharmacies. Retail is a very specific industry. It's been evolving. And not even evolving, is getting redefined every time with the new trends. Now, there's a difference between who set the trends and who follows the trends. And this is the mindset, this is the thinking, this is the culture within the company. The first one, they tend to follow, set, wait till the model is set, and then they jump in. The first or second is defining the trends. It's reshaping the model, is setting the benchmark. They look at the technologies and they get it how to reshape it, customize it, get it fit to the culture within Saudi, fit to the market and to the customers. So there is a big difference. Within Saudi, we see that the involvement is quite intense. And within Bin Dawood Holding, we've seen this also happening. Bin Dawood was the first to introduce what we call first the e-commerce platform with my brother Majd Dahan. The first to launch the self-service in the country as well, being it self-checkout or scan and go. And lately also with the acquisition of the pharmacies is defining a new trend, combining the supermarkets with the pharmacy as in one platform. So it is a one-stop shop for your grocery and your medical requirements. The mindset here is more about in both. In the leadership, they should have a mindset of growth, courage, and risk takers, a limit of calculated risk takers. They should be okay to let people experiment, test, fail, and learn. that should be possible. And in terms of the team, they have to have the open mindset to learn new technologies and get how to use, customize, get technologies within our business to serve our customers.
Interesting, and thank you for the self-checkout. It's amazing.
You're welcome.
Majid, you and I were talking about margins, and this jumps from exactly what Mohammed have said about the importance of giving a creative approach to your tech platform or to your e-commerce. But with the thin margins that you are working on, how do you balance the customer's need for a personalized service versus expansion?
Thanks, Fadi. Hello, everyone. So my name is Majid. I'm handling the e-commerce at Panda Retail. So yes, grocery, they work at very thin retail, very thin margin. So if we need to do personalization, it will encounter additional cost and additional complexity. It will destroy the margin. So grocery, it's all about fulfillment. It's about replenishment. It's about volume. So in Panda, yes, we do personalization where it financially matters. So for example, we do a recommendation for products based on purchase history. We do localized promotions and pricing at store, at regional level. But when it comes into backbone of the operation, it's standardized. So we don't personalize it. So what I mean by backbone, it's about operational SOPs, fulfillment SOPs, last mile accuracy. These we don't touch. It's the operational standards, it's operational backbone, it's standard. So everything in terms of customization and personalization, we do it at front end with a customer interface, but the back end is still standard. And this is proved to be successful for us. And we are able to increase our order frequency. We have lower cancellation rates, better to cost to serve predictability. And we are serving our customer happily, and they are satisfied without destroying our margin.
Interesting. Let's move a little bit towards the human versus the machine, the clash of the titans, as I would say. And no one can start this better than you, Rami, at Swisslog. You operate at this intersection between machines and robotics. What's the biggest misconception we still have about automation? Are we still scared from automation? Are we still scared of implementation?
Thank you. So Rami Yunus, I'm the general manager for Swisslog in the Middle East. Swisslog is proud to be celebrating 125 years in the industry and 10 years locally. And we basically partner with companies to be their technology provider, their partner in this automation journey. It's not Orwellian. I'm going to say it this way. It's neither ChatGPT or that. We don't replace people. We work with people. We don't compete. Automation is an accelerator because we need to create efficiency, productivity. We still need people to make difficult decisions. We need to give them time to make difficult decisions. But we're not going to be able to get there and get to the customer experience required through normal channels. And that's what people think. We replace people. We don't replace people. There's enough work out there. We just replace work that people should not be doing. But they work together, collaboratively. That's how we like to see it.
Thank you, Rami. Engineer Majid, you handle probably one of the biggest segments in pharmacy, health and beauty. And usually this segment has a lot of detailed data, personal data about the consumer, much more than retail itself. How do you use AI without it becoming invasive into that data itself?
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Hello. مش عارف. Okay. Sorry, guys. Good evening, everybody. I'm Majid Shaheen. I'm the CTO, Global Healthcare Company. And we own actually 2 chains of pharmacies. I think very well-known brand, which is Whites and Kunuz. You know, we are like a mix of retail and healthcare establishment or organization, because we are selling both healthcare products and we are selling beauty products. And this is in in the shape of retail stores that has been spread across the kingdom. Now, when it comes to handling the data of our customers and how we ensure that the data is secured when we are dealing with AI tools. Now, there are a lot of principles that we follow or strategies that we follow to make sure that the data is secured. First of all, we are implementing the BDBL law that has been imposed almost 1 year back. It has put like a work frame for us to make sure that the data is not disclosed or it's like shared only to the concerned parties to make use of this data. Now, some of the strategies that we have followed is like depersonalization and aggregation, which means that whenever it's not required to use the specific customer's data, we just aggregate this data. I can give some examples. For example, if we are using some forecasting AI tools. Now, in forecasting tools, you don't have to disclose the customer's data. You just need to aggregate all your sales to make sure that the forecasting system is working as required. You don't have to give the data of your customers. So wherever it's not required to disclose the customer's data, we go for the principle of aggregation and depersonalization. Now, in some tools, you have to use your customer's data. For example, we are launching very soon a new e-commerce platform that has a feature called try-on. Try-on, which means that the customer can try on some of the products like makeup before he decides to buy this one. Now, going into that level does not mean that I have to disclose the customer's biometric. I'm using the edge computing, which means that I will keep the data that is required for the customer analysis on his device. I don't send it to AI. I just send the result of this calculation to AI. For example, customer A has selected shade number 5, and this, the AI analyzed the data that has been received and will make the recommendation based on that. So even when I use the customer data, I make sure that the data is not disclosed except for the required processing of this data. Now, all this comes with a secured infrastructure. Now, NCA has put some controls to make sure that whatever infrastructure you are using, especially when it comes to handling personal information, is secured. So all this landscape of different applications is controlled by NCA compliance controls. So using all these strategies, I'm making sure that using AI will not disclose any of the information of my customers or any personal information.
That's very interesting. And recently, one of the fast food chain has been running an AI trial on predicting your order by your license plate once you enter the drive-thru. And they build the data one order after the other. But then going to you, Sheikh Makboul, every company wants to be data-driven, or every company claims to be data-driven. What's the hardest part about turning AI into operational action?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is Sheikh Makboul. I am the Chief Technology Officer at Al Jazeera Markets. I have been over the past 2 decades. I'm involved and contributed to the remarkable retail outcome. As a CTO at Al Jazeera Markets, my passion and my focus would be transforming the technology to the best business outcomes. As far as the data-driven is concerned, all the retailers, they want to be data-driven. The challenge is not collecting the data, but transforming the data into actionable insights. Okay. The hardest part of the data-driven platform is, data fragmentation and integration. Okay. All the retailers, we use multiple systems, POS, ERP, e-commerce, CRM, loyalty, okay? All the systems have work in their own silos in different data formats with the quality issues, okay? So integrating this, consolidating this data is a big challenge, okay? The second part is, even if we operationalizing the data, the retailers use the data analytics, predictive analytics, okay, but when it comes to the operationalization of the data, they fail. Because the retail, moves fast. Trends, fashion, promotions, and customer behavior shift every day, okay? Even if the data analytics gives the report, by the time you translate into the actionable insights, it will be late, okay? And the third hurdle is organizational culture, okay? The people use the systems. Now we are living in a technological era, AI. We build the best dashboards, but the frontline staff doesn't need dashboards. They need operational insights. Okay, they want to work on the operational insights, not the dashboards. Okay, so these are the three challenges in data.
Thank you, Sheikh. And I believe what you said touches straight to the point where sometimes we overload our operation staff with data that they just don't need, and they shouldn't even worry about them. Mohammed, going back to you, I have two parts questions. The first, and they correlate. The first goes back to what you said is, if you fail, build again. If you fail, build again, and keep going on. But are we still in a forgiving market to fail and build again, or is the competition too strong where one needs to get it right from the beginning? My second question is, and I think they correlate, what's the most underestimating point when it comes to change? Pain point, sorry.
I think for the first question, if you want to lead, we want to build new solutions, we want to raise the customer experience in our stores, we have to be able to experiment something that has not been implemented. Expectations for our customers is raising every day, every time there is some new expectations. We are living in a global market. Social media is opening up when you see what's going on in other markets. So we should be able to learn and experiment. Otherwise, we will keep waiting for other people to lead. And then we will not get the results from that. Talking about the transformation, I mean, transformation as a journey is not a project, it's going on. And every time there is a new technology, especially with AI, every day you hear something new, and the future is in 3 months. We were not talking about strategy for 5 years or whatever, that's too old. We put strategy for 1 year, but before you reach it, things has been changed, so you have to adapt the strategy again. The pain point in transformation is when we think that transformation is technology. It's not human, it's not the people. We talk about mindset in the previous question. And then this leads to a failure of reaching the results. Transformation is not a software upgrade or an installation or bring a new tool. If you don't have the people that adopt and use that platform, it will be just a software in the shelf, not used. A lot of people, they said, okay, we invest a lot in AI, we're experimenting, but we don't see the result because there was no adoption, there was no utilization of that software within the company. If there is, whenever there is a lack of structural communication or engagement between the team, it will lead to first resistance to change. People will not change. They will burn out. They'll be tired of, and then that leads to it's a painful and costly experience. So the way how we do it, the way how it should be as well, I think, is we lead by projects, by business enterprise, not by technology. Let the business lead the initiatives. Technology is there to support and lead the way. That's right.
Perfect, and I believe what you said is very important. The automation or transformation without the human capital transformation is needless, and it'll just end up with tech stack being bloated and not used, and the company losing thousands. Majid, going back to you, if you could alter one thing within your ecosystem, within your tech stack or e-commerce stack, what would that be?
Honestly, Fadi, as Sheikh was saying, that the data is scattered everywhere. So I would really look for a real-time engine that can capture commerce details and all the offline and the online data in one place, covering inventory, last mile logistics, customer insights, behavior in one place. All the applications now, if you open any application, at least they have two applications in the market. One for loyalty, one for grocery shopping, one for data sourcing. So multiple data, with multiple data scattered. And we are not utilizing that data in the right way. A year back, we have signed with Ocado. Ocado is the biggest e-commerce engine in Europe and second in US. They have the best solution in terms of back end and front end. We already started integrating the back end from last mile and delivery, and now we are integrating the full stack. As we finish the integration, we will have a solution that can define all what I'm talking about in terms last mile accuracy in minute, lifetime inventory in the aisles, assembling pickers details in the right way. So we are promising what we deliver, and we deliver what we promise to the customer. And this is where we are moving Panda from a retail plus stack to retail as stack.
Impressive. I look forward to it. Adriano, obviously the gentlemen are massive corporations, and innovation to them is a must to meet the new age and the new demands. But today as well, a lot of companies want to innovate just because they want to innovate. They want to add AI even though they have no idea how would it help their companies. How do you guide retailers to really implement what they need instead of just having a whole stack?
Very complex question. Not easy, but we are always learning every day. Every customer is a different customer, and I will get some words from my friends here. What we try to do more beyond the technology, which obviously we consider we have one of the best e-commerce platform technologies, customer choice, but we try to create what we call the Leonardo da Vinci in the companies. We discuss a lot of architecture. Again, architecture for us is like the foundations of any project, because if we start wrongly, everything in the roadmap will be wrongly since the beginning. So the Leonardo da Vinci, I refer because Leonardo da Vinci, he knew how to paint, but he knew the chemistry of the products, of the painting. He knew the let's say, the patents, the technical part. Sometimes we have salespeople, but they don't know the product, they don't know the tech side, They are selling a product just in the PowerPoint. So we try to create those Leonardo da Vinci in the companies where they know what they are implementing. Like we don't need to be tech people, let's say, in coding, but they need to understand the basic of the architectures. So usually we do a lot of education, and I focus in one part which is services. Services for us is very important because we can discuss mindset, and I think my colleagues, they already anticipated a lot of things in terms of innovation. I don't need to say that global markets, places are there, agentic AIs. When I go with many e-commerce companies, they are facing still 0.3%, 0.4, 0.5% conversion rate in their e-commerce. So obviously we can discuss CAC, profit, a lot of things. But my main question is, companies are creating value to the shareholders or to the customers? Our companies, they are more concerned to create value to shareholders or to customers or both. And why I ask this question? Because we were discussing about loyalty, satisfaction of customers, and we sometimes we received RFPs from our clients with more than 100 pages, and there is the disalignment that my colleague here was mentioning, because I go with IT and they have an understanding. When I go with business, they have another understanding. And when I go to the customer, the end customer, they were not expecting neither what the IT was mentioned, neither what business was mentioned. So I think we are missing this part of the customer orientation. I did an experiment just last month with a company in Jeddah. We said, instead of investing in marketing, let's do an experiment. You are going to ship 100 T-shirts to your customers, and you are going to send a note. If you like my product, you can pay me later. How much you think the percentage of customers which received the T-shirt and paid back to that customer? He trusted on the customers, and 80% of the customers, they paid later. So sometimes we are missing those basic things. You give as a gift, you trust on people, you can say, pay me later. So I think we are missing this human side, the customer orientation.
Perfect. Thank you, Adriano. Rami, back to you. A trifecta of cost, control, and culture. Which scares people the most?
Culture, easy, very easy. You know, we're right now in this transition where people are trying to understand what it means to them. We have organizations that have been running for a long time in a certain way. We have people who have careers built on doing this function. And so there's fears around what would happen to our jobs, what would happen if something goes wrong. And this is a transition period, I think it would be not just generational, but also at this time being, because people, especially here in the region, have not seen it. I'll give you two small examples. We went to a certain customer, ready, they want to adopt automation, and their biggest challenge was, but please, I want to have access to everything in case there's no power, no internet, nothing. I just want to be able to go and pay. Then it's not automation. What if you're gonna go in and just grab it, not record it, not touch it, then what's the, you can create, we can help you create the fail-safe. UPSs, backups, where you're still gonna run. But things will happen. You just have to be brave enough. And I think one thing we're lucky here today is our colleagues that are here are not only pioneers, but they came with humility and courage, saying, we will make mistakes, we will learn, we will grow. These are the companies that really progress the most in this region, because it's a big step forward to have that faith. You select the right partner to have that faith, and we're going to do it together to grow, to do it properly, to learn together, and to bring our own organizations through this cultural change going forward. So it's a big step. And that's why when you select a partner who's also local, they understand that cultural shift within the organization, and we're not saying culture, Saudi culture, We're talking about business culture. That's the biggest thing.
Perfect. Engineer Majid, we used to preach emotional intelligence. Today we preach technical fluency. Which overpowers now for a retailer to succeed? And can they exist without the other?
Actually, there is like a crossover between technology and retail. You cannot separate them from each other. So they have to work in parallel. I can give many examples in our kind of retail. As I said, that we are a pharmaceutical retail company. So we work as a normal retailers from one side. We have point of sale, we have e-commerce side, but this is not the end of the story. We cannot just make a recommendation for our customers on some products without going like deeply to analyze this data. And to do that, we have implemented many tools within our e-commerce, even on our offline stores, to make this kind of analysis. For example, I keep promoting our new e-commerce, which is coming very soon. We have skin analyzer, and this skin analyzer can make product recommendation based on the analysis that it's done on this product. I think our time is over, but
I was concerned something would explode when I heard the...
Anyway, just to continue this discussion, as I said, so we have implemented this kind of skin analyzer that takes the information from the facial biometric of the customer. Pharmacist will analyze this data, and then all this data that has been analyzed will be pushed to AI to make the recommendation for the customers. So this is how we mix the retail, normal retail or traditional retail, with our technology, and that fits for our kind of business.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. As we have started, we end. We're not just following trends over here. We're building each in their own segment and excited for the future. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen, for attending.